We talked a little bit about Avatar's box office and how, it's not tracking as much as Way of Water, which I don't think should be surprising considering such a big gap between Avatar and Avatar 2. But James Cameron's confident Avatar Fire and Ash will make money, but says he'll stop making more films if it flops. I've been in Avatar land for 20 years. If this is where it ends, cool. It cost a fuck ton to make, and it needs to make 2 fuck tons to be profitable.
I wonder what the budget is for that. I think they're all tied together, though. That's what I think. I think when he got the budget for 2 and 3, I think it was all kind of tied in together.
I think that a lot of the money was front loaded in 2 because a lot of the cost of developing all the technology to film it that way. I think that's why Way of Water was extraordinarily expensive, but I'm sure this one's expensive too. The visual effects and all that stuff. But remember 3 years ago when Way of Water came out, James Cameron said, yeah, it needs to be like the biggest movie in history to make a profit. Correct. And so we were all like, holy fuck. Like you're telling me this thing needs to make $3 billion?
Correct.
Which like was ridiculous. And then he did come out and clarify. He's like, I might have been a little like facetious. It actually needs to be like the 12th biggest movie of all time to make money, which did make it reasonable for Way of Water. Yeah.
That's still a lot. I think this thing will do numbers. I think it'll do huge numbers. Well, we've all said that. It'll probably hit $1 billion. If not, if it doesn't hit $1 billion, that's a failure.
Oh no, I mean, I think that this one, we have very little to go off in terms of projections and what it's going to do internationally and all that stuff. But I think that Fire and Ash probably it comes in that like 1.7 billion area, which should be a big drop off. Way of Water was 2.3 billion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we see 1.7, something like that for this movie.
Yeah.
And depending on how much it'll cost to make those last couple, that may like that. Who knows? I don't know what this fucking costs other than James Cameron saying a fuck ton.
Yeah.
And it needs to make 2 fuck tons to be profitable. So whatever that means.
He also said in the same interview that Bob Iger just watched the film already and said, it's a good film. Oh, there it is right there. It's good. You're good. No problem. I don't have a problem with it. This was talking about when he watched a screening for it. Like when he checked on the progress. James Cameron on Bob Iger's notes for Avatar Fire and Ash. He's interesting. He doesn't weigh in till something for me to show. His comment when we watch it for the first time, even though it was at 3 hours and 23 minutes, not including credits at that point. So it's gotten about 18 minutes shorter since then. He said, yeah, I know you're going to keep chopping away at it, but it's magnificent. He basically said, I love this film. It was interesting because there were other heads on the Zoom call that were bringing up notes. And he said, yeah, I didn't have a problem with that. And he basically shot them down on their notes. And I was like, okay, we're done here. Yeah. So Bob Iger was like, you know what? No fucking notes. Let James Cameron cook is what he's saying. Just let him do his thing.
Which saying let James Cameron cook 2 decades ago feels very different than saying let James Cameron cook now. But still,
I say it's kind of weird. Like you make a film and then it's like, all right, well, we got our professional talking heads are all going to give you notes on what you need to change in your film. And Bob Iger overrides them all. Just said, nah, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it. I know what people want to see. And I'm in charge here.
Do we think that Bob Iger is the best judge of what's a good movie or not? I don't know. I don't know if we can say that at this point in time. I'm sure from a director's point of view, you like that attitude. You like the idea that you've got somebody say, no, just let this guy. He knows this world. He's done all this. He's had one that made $3 billion. Another one hit 2.3 billion. Let him do his thing. I'm sure from a director's standpoint, that feels good. But I'm sure the people that are shelling out the hundreds of millions of dollars to make these Avatar movies might be a little bit more concerned. Financial guys, you know.